Okay, 11:59. I think we are good to go. All right, amazing. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Romina. I'm a student recruitment officer with Fleming College. Welcome to another Wednesday webinar. Today's webinar would be about academic timetables and course registrations. I am here with my colleagues, Laura Wilkes. She is our records and convocation coordinator, and Diana, she is our records manager. So, today's session, again, we will be focusing on timetables and course registrations. Before we get started, I am going to do our land acknowledgement first, and we'll watch a short video, and then we'll go from there. Fleming College respectfully acknowledges that we are situated on the Mississauga lands and the traditional territory covered by the Williams Treaties. Chimigwech to the Mississauga peoples for allowing us to continue our work in your territory. We will watch a short video first, and I will let Laura take over.
Pick up the vibe, always lit, even outside. Smile on my face, won't kill my high. Never stagnate, just passing by. Can't stay still, don't ask me why. Where to next, let time decide. Me and the world see eye to eye. Life's a journey, enjoy the ride. Get vibey with it. See me on the decks, we live in the mix. Getting with the bass one time, let it hit, make the room go crazy, cause we don't miss. I just go with the flow. Pick yourself up if the mood gets low. Sometimes chill, take it slow. Any bad vibes, hit the road. Hit the road. Any bad vibes, hit the road. Chill, take it slow. Any bad vibes, hit the road. Hit the road. Chill, take it slow. Any bad vibes, hit the road.
All right, awesome. Okay, so before we get started again, thank you everyone for joining today. I can see we have quite a few live attendees. If you do have any questions today, we do have a Q&A session at the end, so we will be answering all your questions. If you do have anything that comes to mind, like in the middle of the presentation, feel free to leave it in the chat box, and we will get into it, like the questions after. But with that, I'm gonna pass it off to Laura Bucks.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and congratulations on your offer to Fleming College, whether you're just starting with us or if you're continuing with us. Yeah, congratulations. So today I am going to be touching on a few things just to kind of help with your journey here at Fleming. So I'll be getting into the academic schedule, navigating your Fleming portal, your academic advisement report, add drop swap, transfer credits, and important forms that are really great to kind of be aware of and know where to find them. So starting off with the academic schedule, this is a really helpful tool for those of you that are just either starting at Fleming or continuing at Fleming. The way to find it is through the flemingcollege.ca website. So you start there, just along the top, as you can see in the yellow box there, under the Admissions and Aid tab, you will find the academic schedule. So the purpose of this is, again, to kind of highlight when your deposit deadlines are, when your tuition fees are due, any sort of withdrawal dates, and it also outlines the beginning of classes, the end of the semester dates, and reading weeks. So a very helpful tool to kind of get yourself familiar with. And on the next slide there, it's just an example of what that kind of looks like. So this is what you will see on the academic schedule. So again, it's kind of broken down month by month. For brand new students starting, you can see what the tuition deadline dates are, the beginning of classes. It also says on there for orientation dates. So September 8th is orientation date. So it's good to know, when to attend, and there's more details of that on your student center. All right. The next important and helpful page would be navigating your Fleming portal. So this is important for those of you that are just starting, if you are brand new students. So the way to actually log into your Fleming portal is going to the Fleming College website, so flemingcollege.ca. You go up to the top right-hand corner under My Campus, and if you've never logged in before, you would go to New to Fleming. So this is important because if you've never logged in, you likely don't have your username and your password yet. So this is actually going to generate that for you. So what you need is your student ID number. That would be found on your offer letter or any communication that you've received from Fleming this far. And then your date of birth. So you will go to New to Fleming, enter those details, and that will generate your username, your password configuration, and your Fleming email. That's important to write down because you're going to need that then to log into your My Campus. Then also navigating your Fleming portal, an important spot is your dashboard. So once you log into your My Campus, your dashboard has tons of really helpful information, helpful important dates. There's announcements on there. So again, just kind of keep up with your dashboard. And then also your Fleming email. So this is important to be checking all the time. Don't be one of those people that have thousands of unread outstanding messages. It's important to check those because that is where Fleming is going to be communicating any information with you. So your Fleming email will be found once you log into your My Campus, and it's just down the left-hand side. Also, there's any pending tasks that you need. So if you have an outstanding pending task, that will be on your dashboard. It'll be pretty obvious right on there, bolded in, I believe, a red banner. That includes your activity guide. So that is something that you do have to complete in order to get your timetable. Then you will also find anything to do with making payments and your timetable. So if we go to the next slide, I'll show you where or kind of what to expect for your timetable. So students at Fleming are given their timetable, so that is built for them. Other than the general electives, that is something that students will have to choose themselves, and any sort of specific course electives as well. So this is what a timetable typically looks like. This is an example of one of our Frost programs in Lindsay. So what's really important when you're first looking at your timetable is to be sure to skip ahead to the next week. So because that very first Monday is a holiday, it's always going to look like you don't have classes on Monday. But if you skip ahead to the next week, then you will see what your Monday actually looks like. So it is kind of time sensitive in that sense. And then also you want to make sure, I've kind of highlighted at the bottom there in a yellow box, it's important to just kind of click on all of those boxes so you see all the information. It will show your instructor, it'll show where your classrooms are located. That's just really helpful information if you want to take a screenshot of that or if you want to print it off. It's good to just have so you know where to go for your classes. And then you'll refresh your calendar to make sure that it's up to date. So like I mentioned briefly about that orientation date, so that is the very first day of classes. For semester 1 students, you don't actually have to attend your classes that day. So you will have an orientation schedule that will likely be sent to you, or it's in your announcements page where you can look it up by program, and that'll tell you kind of where to go. Also, an important part about this timetable is just have a look at the top. So just above where you see those course blocks, it's important to look to see if you have any virtual components. That's where all of those will show up. And then also, if you see anything that's kind of highlighted in yellow on your course timetable, this could be it could show up as a conflict, but if it's in yellow, it's nothing to worry about. It's actually just you're switching rooms. So if you do see anything that has a conflict, likely it's fine. We've already created it for you. It's just you do have to change rooms while you're in that class. All right, moving on to the next slide. So your academic advisement report. So this is really important for students that are just coming in or returning students. So this will be really helpful for you as you continue your journey through Fleming, just to kind of see what is expected of you, what courses are maybe outstanding. It's important to just check this after you've finished a semester to make sure that you are completing all of the curriculum and everything that is required in order to graduate. So the way you will find this is, again, you'll log in through your My Campus. Down the left side is where you get into your student center. So that's where you're going to see, that's an example of what that screenshot is right there. That's your student center. That's where your timetable is. That's where you'll see how to make a payment. All of that important information is on there. But just on the left-hand side there with the arrow, there is a drop-down menu. So you go to academic requirements, and that is where you'll see this report. So again, the purpose of this is for you to check any program requirements, your progress, and just making sure that you're completing these. It is sometimes something that you would view through a PDF. Always ensure that your PDF blocker is allowing these to pop up, because if you have any sort of blocker on your PDFs, it's not going to open. So just make sure that you do allow those documents to open so you can view these important reports. Okay, and on the next slide, this is just an example of what that report would look like. So this is kind of, it's nice because it has the colors that are quite obvious. So a green means satisfied, and a red means that it's not satisfied. So satisfied meaning you have met those requirements for that semester, not satisfied meaning that you are missing something. So it does specify there what it is that you're missing. So it says courses needed, and then under, as you can see on semester 2, it says that this student has satisfied that semester 2, and also the general elective. So that's important to always look at as well, just to make sure that you are satisfying all of the requirements of the program. All right, on to the next one. Add drop swap. So this is important for students once they have their timetable. Again, you are going to be given your timetable. It is created for you. Record specialists in the registrar's office do that for you, which is really nice. But you do have a little bit of flexibility there. So again, once you're in your My Campus, you go to your student center. That's where you will kind of view all of this stuff. But some really helpful tips for Add Drop Swap is actually going into the tutorials. So we have lots of video tutorials out there. We've got lots of supports to help you. So you will find these through your My Campus, your dashboard. Along the top, it says Registrar's Office, and then Office of the Registrar. And on the next slide, I'm not going to go there just yet, but on the next slide, there is a screenshot of exactly how to navigate this, but that's where you'll find all of the video tutorials. So it's so important to watch these, because likely you'll be able to do this yourself. It's quite simple once you are viewing those videos. But the purpose of this is to allow students to have that flexibility and change the students' timetables around themselves. We do have extra support. So once you've watched those videos, if you are still having issues, we do have sessions that will be held in the Learning Resource Center for Add Drop Swap. During the first week of classes, it will be held twice a day. And then during the second week of classes, it'll be once a day. You can find the specific times for these sessions under the announcements page on your dashboard. But I do highly recommend you go and watch those videos, because it makes it much simpler, and then you don't have to wait in line. You don't have to come in and chat with somebody for that support. Also, if you get any error messages, it is important to look at that as well. There are some helpful resources on this page that I'm going to show you in a second. It kind of outlines what the error messages are. If it says there's a conflict, likely that means you have another class that is running at the same time, so you can't make that change. We don't offer full section swaps, so by yourself, but if this is something that you need and it is a concern of yours, you can actually contact your program coordinator and they can help you with that process, but that's not something you're able to do yourself. You can only swap course by course. For your gen ed selection, so your general electives, this is available for you on August 20th. Students that are in an upper semester, so anyone that is above semester 1, your Add Drop Swap options for anything outside of the gen eds open up on September 4th, and then first semester students or first semester classes, Add Drop Swap opens on September 15th. So on the next page there, This is an example of where you'll find it. So like I said, on the dashboard, once you go into that registrar's office page on your dashboard, this is what this looks like. So right at the bottom there, it says timetables. There's error messages you can view, and then those video tutorials are all there as well. So very, very helpful, and I highly recommend you all look at those if you have any questions. All right. Moving on to the next one. So transfer credit. So this is important for those that are maybe coming from another post-secondary institution. They've already taken some courses that they think are similar to courses that are required for their new program that they're taking here. This is important, especially for those of you who have done a dual credit as well. So if you've done a dual credit and you're in high school and you know that the course that you've taken is relevant to the curriculum that you're taking with your new program, always it's worth a try to, inquire about getting a transfer credit. Not always going to be approved, but definitely worth inquiring about. Dual credits are a little bit different because they have to be very specific to the course curriculum. You can't just use any course to swap. And also that goes for general electives. General elective courses are very specific courses, so you can't just use any course for that. Like I said, it's worth checking out to see if you have something that would work. So the navigation for that is once you have actually confirmed your offer, you can begin this process. So you can actually do it before you've confirmed your offer. You have to actually be a Fleming student to continue this. So for this, you would go to your My Campus, and then under your My Campus there, or sorry, your Student Center, there is a transfer credit section there. So under your Student Center, self-service options, it's down the right-hand side, transfer credit request, and then you would add a new value and enter the course details for that. So important information to remember for that is just be sure to submit this well in advance, about 15 business days from the start of the term. That gives us some time to look into it, but definitely have to submit that before the add and the drop deadline. Students also must remain in the courses until these have been approved. Like I said, not everything gets approved because it does have to be evaluated and go through the proper steps of how the approval steps. So you don't want to drop it just in case it's not approved and then you are scrambling to get that course back on your timetable. Another thing to keep in mind is in order to do a transfer credit, you do have to have an official transcript from the institution that you received the credit from, and also a course outline or a course syllabus that breaks down exactly what the learning outcomes were of that course. All right, moving on to the next slide. This is just where, again, you will find it. So on your dashboard under Registrar's Office, there is a section there for transfer credits. This gives you all the information. If you have any more questions, there are email addresses there that you can reach out to, and they can help guide you through that process. All right, and moving on to important forms. So this is great. If you have anything that you need to look into, any forms that you need to find, we have put most of these in a handy spot for you right on your dashboard. So again, the navigation for that is you log into your My Campus, your dashboard is that first page that shows up, and just down towards the right-hand side, you will find electronic forms. So this includes the course drop form, the course add form. The course add form is important for those of you that want to maybe change your clinical times or your any classes that have to do with clinicals, labs, or placements. Students can't actually use the add drop swap function for those. That is something that you would have to put through the course add form and get one of the record specialists to help you with that. But this is also where you'll find the domestic withdrawal form, international withdrawal form, transcript request form. So if you're looking to order a transcript, these are done electronically now, so it's through our MyCreds, but at least it'll have some information there for you. And then upper semester application forms are found there as well. So this is where you will find those on your dashboard. Like I said, it's kind of handy to have them all in one spot. So student forms and then electronic forms. So that is all for me. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to leave those in the chat and we will help answer those as best as we can.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Laura.
Yeah, no
Lots of
problem.
great information. Yeah, I can see that we have quite a few attendees. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open the chat box. So if anyone has any questions, we will be answering those now. Just before we get started, everyone, again, if you have any general inquiries, you can always reach out to us through Ask Us email. That is the general recruitment line. So you can email at askus@flemingcollege.ca. If you have anything, any questions regarding records, timetables, anything we talked about today, feel free to reach out to records directly. They will be the best team to help you out. Now, if you do want to book a campus tour or book like an advising session with us, I'm assuming most of you have already been accepted into a program. But if that's not the case, you can always visit us online. You can book a tour, you can have an advising session, and we will be happy to assist you. Now, let's move on and we're going to answer your questions. Um, all right, so I'm just going to open the chat box here. Okay, let's go back up. We have quite a few messages here. All right, so let's get started. Yeah, so TJ is asking when we'll be receiving our timetable. So usually it will be 2 to 3 weeks before the program starts. Laura, if that's not correct, feel free to correct me. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, I'll
go
just,
ahead, Deanna.
so it actually is not always 2 to 3 weeks. So if under the announcement page, it will always tell you when we will start building timetables. So as of right now, we've started building timetables for August or for fall start, and it started on Monday. So timetables will take us it can take us up to 2 days or 2 weeks. So if you look under the announcements, it says if you don't have a timetable by August 21st, so that's a week this Friday, then to contact the records department. But in order to get a timetable, you have to remember that your activity guide has to be done and your full tuition has to be paid. So if you haven't done either of those would be two reasons that you do not have a timetable yet. If you were also, another reason would be is if you were part-time in a semester prior, you have to apply to come back as a full-time student.
okay, awesome. Thank you, Deanna. I'm just looking through the chat here. If you guys, yeah, I can see that some of you would like to have a campus tour. If you actually scan the QR code or just search up book a tour at Fleming, it will directly to that page that you can book a campus tour right now. You might actually not see any availabilities. We're fixing that on our website. If you don't see that, feel free to just book like a regular advising session with any of our recruiters. You can be with me or any of my other colleagues, and then just put a note that you would like to have a campus tour instead of an advising, and then we'll be happy to give you a tour. Now, Antonia, I have an admission for fall to PNB semester 2. I want to change my streaming option to PNA fully online. Can I change it for the fall? I'll let Deanna or Laura maybe answer that.
Go
So,
ahead.
Antonia, I think you're asking if you can switch from the regular hybrid nursing program, if you can switch to the fully online option. Is that, I'm assuming that's what they're asking.
You would have to update your application through OCAS.
Okay. Um, Kayla, I had conditions, but I've met all the conditions, just waiting for the final grade to be posted. So when should I receive my timetable?
So depending on when your grades are posted, your conditions aren't lifted until the courses are completed. So it would depend on when the grades are posted. Timetables and conditions can be lifted all the way till day 5 of the semester. After day 5, we require dean approval to admit anybody into a first semester course.
Okay. And Heartdeep is asking, can we shift other labs on Saturday from weekdays if possible? So, Hardeep, just to clarify, are you asking like if you are in the regular like hybrid nursing program? I'm assuming this is about nursing. If you can shift your labs to Saturday if your labs are on the weekdays? I'm assuming that's what they're asking.
Dana, did you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so if you are looking to switch your courses, you would use the self-serve. So self-serve will open on September 4th, and you can swap depending on space availability. So if there's no spaces in the other sections, you may not be able to do it. Again, when you try, it will give you an error message. If they're first semester courses, you may not be able to swap until the 6th day of class, which I believe is September 15th.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. And Matthew is asking for timetable not being sent out without a paid tuition. Is there anything I would need to do while waiting for OSAP?
Your OSAP pays us directly, so as long as you've submitted and completed everything with OSAP, as well as paid, so you're still responsible to pay your own deposit, and you still have to do the activity guide. But if everything's done with OSAP, OSAP does notify us, and you will get a timetable because OSAP should pay us directly. If you request it for OSAP to pay you directly, then no, you have to pay tuition in order to get a timetable.
Awesome. Zarina is asking, I joined a bit later, but but I was advised that someone would call me mid-August to pick my courses for PWZ, but haven't heard anything yet, and I was wondering what steps I need to take to make sure I'm registered and to pay my tuition.
I think there was you should have got an email, and in the email it would have been a link for you to fill out your courses. If you haven't heard anything yet, you can reach out to ConEd, so CONED at flemingcollege.ca, and somebody can help you there.
Awesome. And Noor is asking, I'm applying for Ontario Better Jobs and my application has been received. I'm waiting to hear back from them. But if I didn't get the funding, can I last minute still take OSAP and pay for it? I can actually take over this one. So Noor, if you're applying for Better Jobs, basically, I'm assuming you haven't applied yet because usually the way it works for Better Job applicants, if we have anyone else in the chat here today, you would have to apply on OCAS first. So basically, actually, let's reverse a little bit. So the first step is actually finding an employment agency. Once you have a caseworker, once you talk to someone, and then you get that figured out, then you can come to us. We can help you with the OCAS application. You would have to apply regularly, like on OCAS. We can help you with the application if you need assistance. Once you apply and get your offer and accept your offer, then you would have to send us an email. The email would be admissions@flemingcollege.ca. I will leave it in the chat box here. So send us an email and let us know. Whoops. Everything is in caps. Let me fix that. Send admissions an email letting us know that you have already applied and accept your offer. Once you do that, usually there are a few questions that we will ask you, and then you just have to send us your reply. Once we receive that, our admissions team will be able to provide you with an enrollment letter, and then you can provide that enrollment letter to your employment agency. Again, for Better Jobs, it is a bit time consuming. So I would advise, like, let's say if you're planning to get into the September intake and you haven't really gotten started on that, it is very unlikely that, to be honest, everything will basically be processed by then. So I would either maybe apply for January or like give yourself about 2 to 3 months because Better Jobs, it takes a bit of time. It is not like OSAP, and even for OSAP, we advise to like apply a few months in advance, just so all your documents are going to get reviewed on time. If that is not the case and you would want to like start in September, you do not want to wait, you feel free to apply for OSAP. And then we also have our financial aid office that can help you with the OSAP application. So I'll send our admissions email in the chat box as well. Okay.
I
Going
just
back
want to
up.
clear something up about OSAP. So applying for OSAP and actually finishing your full application being approved are two different things. So tuition was due for most people on Friday the 7th. So you could potentially at that point have been pulled out. So if you started an application with OSAP but you haven't completed it and you haven't gotten confirmation, you haven't done your MFA and all of that, that means we don't have approval for you yet. So everything would have had to be done by the 7th in order for it to reflect on your account that you're OSAP eligible.
Yeah.
So that is the
Want
biggest difference, is applying and actually being confirmed are two different things. And so unless you got the confirmation saying, yep, everything's done, you'll get this, we'll pay the school and all that information, it wouldn't notify us.
Yeah, good point, Deanna. Thank you. And just one question regarding that now we're on the topic. So I'm assuming yes, because everything, yes, OSAP application has to be submitted. Everything should be completed by your tuition deadline. If someone wants to, let's say if they pass their deadline for the tuition and like they haven't like done their or completed their OSAP application on time, if we still have spots in that specific program, are they able to apply for OSAP a little bit later, basically?
Yeah, they should reach out to financial aid about it, but my understanding, and I am not going to say 100%, is you can apply at
Sure.
any time, but if you've already paid your tuition, then they'll just give you, and you get approved and you get your OSAP will be direct deposit to you, not to the school. So if you've already
Okay.
paid out of pocket, then it goes to you and not the school.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, awesome. And then, so Mary is asking, are there no classes at all on the 8th? Is the entire day dedicated to program orientation?
So that wouldn't unfortunately be an us question. I would recommend, my understanding it is, and you should receive something from your coordinator and all that about a schedule on Monday for, or sorry, Tuesday, because Monday's a holiday. So orientation is
Yes.
Tuesday.
Okay, perfect. And TJ, I was told that I personally had to pay tuition even if I'm still waiting for OSAP to approve and pay Fleming for it. So I paid it out of my own pocket. I am confused again. Should I have not paid out of pocket? TJ, I think we spoke before. Send me an email today and I can give you a call and we can discuss that.
But I can answer it. So if you weren't
Okay.
approved by August 7th and you're in a program, if you hadn't paid your tuition and your OSAP wasn't approved by August 7th when tuition was due date, and you're in a program that has a wait list, there was a potential that you would have been removed. So you would have been advised to pay tuition in full until in order to secure your seat.
Okay. I will feel free to email me also after because I think we spoke before and then I will look into it for you. Um, and then so Deidra is asking, is there student parking? Yes, there would be parking. It is paid, so you can pay monthly, semesterly, yearly, or daily. Daily might be a bit more expensive if you're coming here every day, but you can choose and based on what works best for you. Um, Sammy is asking regarding the timetable and payment of tuition fee. What if the student is in, what if the student is on Ontario Learn and Stay program? They're covering the cost of the tuition.
Yep.
Um,
So it's kind of like OSAP. It would have notified us, and there was an indicator put on your account. So as long as you've done the activity guide, you should be receiving a timetable before the 21st.
awesome. And we are also having a question about what do we need to do for enrollment? Um, sorry, I'm not sure if I understand that correctly, but I'm assuming they're asking about the enrollment tasks.
Y-
Sorry, can you, Mustafa, can you clarify that email so we can assess you better? Okay. Um, I received email today that my admissions is terminated due to unpaid tuition. I already applied for OSAP and I expected them to pay the school. I paid the initial 250. What is the problem?
I'd recommend emailing OSAP as well as reaching out to the admissions team.
Yeah. I left the admissions email in the chat box, everyone. So if you want to copy that. Um, Yeah, my application was already sent through the ministry. I'm just waiting for the reply. Yeah, Noor, if you're, I'm assuming you're referring to better jobs. Um, yeah, just once you hear back, and then if you haven't applied already, you do have to still apply regularly on OCAS and then get an offer and accept your offer. Once you are enrolled in the program, then we can provide you with an enrollment letter. Um, So if I paid out of pocket with OSAP pending and then I eventually get OSAP funding approval, will I be refunded my tuition by Fleming?
Well,
TJ is
no,
asking that.
OSAP will go directly to you. OSAP only pays us outstanding fees that are required.
Okay. Yeah, so you wouldn't be double paying us if that's what you're asking. Okay, so what we have to mention in enrollment email, like a student ID and something like, oh, I think you are, Mustafa, I think you're referring to the Better Jobs email I mentioned before. If that is what you're asking about, yes. So once you have accepted your offer on OCAS, send an email to admissions. They will send you a list of questions. You just have to answer those questions and send it back to them, and they will provide you with an enrollment letter. And
I'm not
Anton, oh, sorry.
so if it's better jobs, we won't provide anything until we have the application from the ministry signed to us.
Yeah. Yeah. So like once everything is finished, that would be basically the last step. So yeah. Okay, awesome. So Antonia is asking, can you please repeat what I meant to do? I didn't catch that. And is it possible to switch?
You have to apply through OCAS, so you're going to have to edit your application through the OCAS that you want to go into a different stream because there's different applications through OCAS for the different personal or practical nursing programs. So if you want to go into the other one, you're going to have to go back into OCAS.
Okay. And Anthony is asking, is there a website to apply for OSAP? Yes, just search up OSAP on Google, like OSAP login. If you've never applied, you would have to register and put in your information. You will sign up for an account with your SIN number, and then you will apply online. So you can do your application yourself, but we also have a financial aid office. So if you have any questions, if any concerns, you can reach out and we can help you out. Brooke is asking, I can only see the monthly option for parking. Where am I to find yearly? I will send in like a link later at the end of the presentation so you guys can check out the parking. It might have changed to be honest since the last time I checked, but I will send the link in a bit. So now the OSAP has not paid. Can I still pay today? Um, we would probably have to look at your account. I will leave my email address here. This is my direct email for anyone who has like specific concerns, because we do have to check your application for some of these questions. It's a bit, it is kind of case by case. So I'll leave my email here. If anyone has any personal situations, feel free to email me directly and I can at least connect you with the right team. Okay, so going back up. Um, so we have another question. I made a request to OSAP and they agreed to pay, but just a part of my tuition and I have to pay the rest. Should I pay more part, sorry, should I pay my part first or should I wait for OSAP to pay their part first? You have to pay whatever outstanding balance you have by the due date. Antonia is asking, when will enrollment be confirmed for those who applied for OSAP? Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean, Diana. I'm not sure if you can
So,
answer that.
for anybody who has OSAP questions, so we're not OSAP specialists, so we can give you general information that we know. But if you have direct questions about OSAP, you should be reaching out to financial aid. They'd be able to tell you. I know there's a question here about like OSAP loans and the email for OSAP. So applying for OSAP is different than getting information from OSAP. So the team here, our financial aid department, can help you with your application and where it stands. And if you're missing anything for that, they won't apply for it for you. You have to do that on their own. And loans and rates and stuff like that, you can definitely find right off the OSAP website. We don't provide that information because that is an agreement you have with them. OSAP just pays us for your tuition. So I would recommend reaching out to financial aid and looking at your OSAP application because it will say right on the website where you're at, what they're waiting for. If they're asking for waiting for confirmation, they don't usually confirm your OSAP so that they release the remainder funds to you until the first week of September.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Diana. Yeah, if you guys have any, because yeah, we only have the general information about OSAP. If you have any specific questions, it will be best to either check the website directly or reach out to the financial aid team. I left their email on the chat. It's finaid@fleming flemingcollege.ca. So feel free to reach out to them regarding any OSAP questions and they will be able to help you better. Okay. So Leah's asking, do we assume classes start on Tuesday, September 8th, and there are no meet and greet activities for students ahead of time? A timetable has not been received for pre-service fire program in Norwood yet, or any details on books, uniforms required. Yeah, and I'm not sure if you want to answer that, or I'm not sure. I think, again, as you
So
mentioned,
again, timetables have been released for anybody who's met all the requirements of getting a timetable for all programs. If you are referring to firefighters where it just shows where your location is right now, so the records office provides the schedule to you, but we don't have a say of when it is or any information about that. So if you need more detailed information about your program and that kind of stuff, I'd reach out to your program coordinator
okay.
or the faculty
Awesome.
attached to the courses.
Okay, awesome. Mustafa, I think you're asking about the email that you need to send to admissions regarding better jobs. The only thing you need to mention is, yeah, include your student ID, include your first and last name. You don't need your passport number on that. Just your student ID and your full name, and just explain that you are going through Better Jobs Ontario. And they will send you the list of questions you need to send to them. Um, Okay, yeah, Anthony, I saw yeah, that is the website for OSAP. Okay. Um, Brooke is asking for electives, is there one every semester that you get to choose? I'm not sure, Laura, if you know that, or Diana, if you want to answer that.
No, so it's not every semester. The best thing to do is actually check on your advisement report because it'll let you know um, the outstanding general electives, and that will kind of let you know when to choose them. Dan,
Okay.
if you have anything to add on to that.
Oh, that's correct. You can find that right on your academic advisement report as well. It tells you which semester your gen eds are required.
Okay, so we have excuse me. Donna is asking, I paid my tuition through online banking before the deadline. When I looked under my account, it looks like it hasn't been transferred to my program, and under full-time program, it shows I have no full-time programs listed. But I have already been accepted into my program. I have met all the requirements. Is this because they are still working on acceptance and timetables?
No, so if you paid through online banking, you would have got a message. It depends on how you paid. It was recommend that you went through Flywire and added Flywire as your payee with the account number. If you didn't do it that way and you paid your online banking just through the bank as Fleming tuition and then your student number, it did notify you on your fee note as well as through Flywire that it can take up to 3 to 4 business days for us to receive the funds and then another 2 business days for it to be posted. We can see the date you make payment when it finally comes through. So as long as payment was made on before Friday the 7th, then you should be fine.
Okay,
But until it's
awesome.
showing on your account, you won't get a timetable.
Okay. And Zarina is asking, can you provide the email for me to follow up for my course registration? Anything regarding timetables and course registration, again, everyone, you would have to email records. It's actually on the screen right now if you want to take a screenshot or take a picture. It's records@flemingcollege.ca.
However, if you're
Um,
emailing us about timetables, please note that under announcements, it says that timetables will be released from August 10th to the 21st. So if it's not the 21st yet, there's potential that you're still in the queue to get a timetable as long as you've met all the requirements. So you've paid your tuition and you've filled out the activity guide and you have no outstanding fees.
um, Diana or Laura, I'm not sure if you guys can answer a question about T2202. So regarding that, if you have any questions regarding your student tax forms, there is a web page on Fleming. If you search up student tax forms, and then at Fleming College, there would be a web page that will give you more information on how to go about it. Okay. So Kayla is asking, once you have your timetable, are you already registered for those courses, or is there something else we have to do? Again, I think Laura or Deanna, if you want to answer that.
Yeah, if you've already received your timetable, just be sure to check your advisement report. Make sure that you don't have any general electives that need to be selected for that. But once you have your timetable, that's all you need to do.
Awesome. Yeah, and then just to clarify, the presentation is fully complete and the rest of the hours Q&A. Yes, everyone. So again, this session is being recorded, so you can, we will be uploading this later on in a couple of days. So if you need to refer back and then just check the video later, feel free to do that. But yes, the presentation for today is finished. It started at 12. Okay.
I just want to note, TJ, I see that you said that nobody from Records ever responded. I'm wondering where you're emailing because Records emails is actually almost clean. We only have 8 unread ones in our inbox right now. So you may not be emailing the right department. So sometimes people email the register at flemingcollege.ca and that one's not monitored. So the records emails is actually quite clean. So if you want to send an email with your inquiries in there, somebody will get back to you. We've actually have a turnaround rate of all of our emails right now about almost 3 business days.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Deanna. And yeah, TJ, I know your situation was a bit complicated, so feel free to reach out to me again and we can go over the OSAP situation later. Mary is asking, can you please explain the process of applying for bursaries? I'm going to add, again, this is not, again, it's not really records, but we'll just mention that since we have a few attendees. So for bursaries and scholarships, if you're asking about internal Fleming bursaries and scholarships, it's a form that you will have to fill out through your student account. It would be available at my campus at Fleming, so you can access that through your student portal. Um, and I was curious about something on my schedule. I have a listed communication one, a seminar for all day from September 8 to 18. I am in the computer security and investigations course. Is there an email I can message about this? Um,
I know the schedule because I was just looking at one. I'm not sure what you're referring to. So September 8th is showing on your schedule all day communication ones, or is it showing at the top of your schedule that you have communication with an untime?
okay, so we'll wait for Xander to like respond back. But okay, so just give me 1 second so I can read through the text messages here. Um, so for Better Jobs Ontario, I'm still waiting for my response from the ministry. If I don't get my schedule by the date the program starts, does that mean I'm not in? So again, Noor, Better Jobs, you basically have to go through an employment agency first and get the confirmation from them because we are not the ones approving if a program is eligible for Better Jobs or not. That decision has to come from them because they are the ones funding it. So once you get that decision and then you have to apply and then you have to accept your offer and then we can basically provide you with the enrollment letter. So I would say if you are planning for September, it would be very hard to get you into the September if you plan to go ahead with Better Jobs. What I would recommend either maybe because you will have to usually like maybe have like a plan B for like a semester after because again like Better Jobs it will take some time so you might not make it for September but if that is what you're looking into I would either recommend applying maybe for OSAP if the program still has spots or if you can still apply or just apply for January or May intake for that program if there are available intakes after. Emily is asking, during add drop swap, can you enroll in different sections for the lecture and lab seminar of the same course, or do you have to swap the entire section? Deanna,
So,
I'm gonna, oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Laura, can I? No, Laura, go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's okay. So, when you are swapping a lab or a seminar, there likely is a lecture attached to it. So you do have to swap both of those. There could be options that the lecture is kind of a common hour, so that might look like it's uh, at the same time for all of the different sections, but they do move together. So it is important to look at both of those and make sure that both of the components that you're swapping fit within your timetable.
Someone else is also asking regarding my classes schedule, how long do I have to wait? And also, I didn't find about the deadline tuition. So your tuition deadline will be on your fee notification, guys. It would be available on your student account under fee notification. So all the information about your tuition, your deposit, how to make a payment, when the deadline is, everything will be on that document. And again, classes, as Diana mentioned before, August 10 to 21st is when you will be receiving your timetable. So if it is before August 21st, no need to panic yet. And if after 21st you still don't have your timetable, reach out to records. Um, and what's the significance of paying 250 tuition deposit? I thought with that you get enrolled. That is basically to reserve your seat in the program, Sammy. Um, Mustafa, I think from your question, I'm assuming you are an international student. If you're coming from another country or if you have any questions regarding that, I will also include the international department's email. They will be able to help you a little bit better than us. I work with domestic students, so I might not have all the information. So I will send our international department's email here for anyone who is an international student. So feel free to reach out to them for more information. Okay, going back up. Thanks, Sam. Thank you for joining. And okay, Antonia. So Antonia, financially doesn't pick up their calls. I am confirmed for OSAP, but I got a message that OSAP is waiting for Fleming to confirm my admission before the fund is released. When will my admission be confirmed? Can I pay now while waiting for confirmation? And Fleming sent me an email stating I don't have to do anything if I have been confirmed by OSAP.
So
I'll
I just want
just,
to add, anybody who's looking for OSAP, if you go on your student center and then you go my account summary, if you look at that, it will show us whether or not, and it will show you whether or not OSAP is being applied to your account. So if you look on there and your bill's like 4,000 and OSAP has like you've done all your paperwork and everything, it would show OSAP to be applied and it would show 4,000 or whatever amount you're getting. If at this point you've done everything you think you need to do and that is still not showing under account summary, I would reach out to financial aid. So, financial aid is there's a big team of them, but we also have a lot of walk-ins. So as they walk into the office, if there's nobody available, they can also get a phone call. So they try their best and they do call people back if you leave a message. You can also email them at financialaid@flemingcollege.ca. They're very fast at getting back and they're a great team to work with.
yeah,
But if
for
they're
sure.
if OSAP is just waiting for us to confirm, that means you have a timetable and then they confirm that you're a full-time student with them on that. And that again won't be till the first week of September.
Thanks, Sienna. Yeah, if you haven't been able to get in touch with them, they are very responsive. So if you leave a voicemail or send them an email, they will get back to you soon. Kayla is also asking, can you please repeat what it means when there is a conflict on the timetable? Is there something I need to do?
So usually when you see a conflict on your timetable that's already there, it's just kind of highlighting that there is a room change. So if your timetable was already built like that, there's nothing you have to do. Just know that there will be a room change within that time frame. However, when you're using add drop swap and it says that there's a time conflict, that means you cannot change your timetable. So that's not an intentional conflict. That just means it's conflicting with the other courses on your timetable already, and it won't allow you to do the swap. So that's kind of the difference between the timetable conflicts.
Thanks, Laura. Also, we have another question. Lydia is asking, is that where can I find my timetable on my campus? Um, Laura, if you want to kind of like go over that
Yeah, no
again.
problem. So once you're on your My Campus, it's actually in your student center. So down the left side, it says My Student Center. That's where you'll find your academic advisement report. That's where you'll be able to see your fee notification, and your timetable will display there as well. Until you have your timetable, you won't see anything on there. But once you have been loaded into your classes, you can actually go to the bottom. There's a link and it says view, I believe it says view weekly schedule. Click that, skip ahead to September 8th, and then the week after that to make sure that you can see that Monday schedule, and that's where you'll be able to find your timetable.
Awesome. And Donna is asking, just to confirm, you will still be able to accept my payment even though I paid by online instead of Flywire, and it won't affect my timetable.
No, it won't but as long as you make sure you did Fleming tuition and your student number, it just takes a lot longer for us to get it.
Gotcha. And last question, I think, where can I find account summary?
So My Campus, the right-hand side, Student Service Center, and then on your main page there, it will say account summary.
Awesome. All right. I think we went through all the questions, guys. Again, if anyone else, sorry, there were a lot of chats here, so if I skipped over a question by accident, feel free to leave it now. If there are no other questions, we will be wrapping this presentation up. We'll give this a few more minutes if anyone else has any concerns or questions. I would say for TJ and Noor, please email me directly because it is a bit hard to like communicate like through the chat here. So email me and we can go through that. TJ, yeah, if you want to just email me and I can look at that for you. And Noor, I sent you my email as well regarding better jobs. So I will contact you guys directly regarding that. Since there is like personal information, we don't want to share it today. Yeah, I think that is pretty much it. Oh, we have one more question. The Communication One seminar is listed at the top of my schedule. I wasn't entirely sure what it was, so I just wanted to clarify it here.
So that is likely the virtual component that is attached.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, well, I think that is it for today. Again, thank you
Romina,
both.
do you
Like,
want to just
oh,
put the financial aid email address in there so that people have it for
yeah.
any
Yeah,
OSAP questions?
Yeah, I did. So again, so I left financial aid's email address, my email address, admissions, and international. And again, our records email is on the screen right now, and Ask Us, it is our general inbox. So lots of different departments, but it's good to reach out to the specific department depending on what your issue or like your question is, so we can help you better. But with that, again, thank you everyone for joining again. Thank you, Laura and Deanna. Lots of great information. And yeah, I'm gonna start recording. Again, this webinar will be available if you guys want to watch it later. It would be uploaded on YouTube and it would be on our website. So yeah, thanks again, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.